let's get into the meat of our design challenge. Over the past few months, as COVID-19 has nearly shut down our health systems, we've seen that data-enabled health tech, and particularly virtual care, have gone completely mainstream and have been adopted at a scale that we've never seen before. By one estimate, virtual visits comprised 70% of total US ambulatory care visits in April this year. Not surprising, given that offices were completely shut down. From June last year until June this year, US telemedicine claims have risen by over 4,000%. And when you look at what's happening in the investment environment, the pandemic has led to massive investments in data-enabled health tech, which includes three categories: the on-demand healthcare, research and development catalysts, and wellness and health maintenance. So let's look a little more closely at those three categories. Firstly, the rise in telehealth visits has created the demand for on-demand healthcare services. And that category includes companies that offer not only traditional one-to-one provider to provide patient to provider telemedicine interactions, but also technologies that enable both synchronous and asynchronous delivery of healthcare from a remote clinician to a remote patient. Top funded value propositions just in the last quarter of 2020 represent $2 billion in investments. And these are for healthcare tech companies that are not in the traditional telehealth mold. It's for those companies that are integrating telemedicine touchpoints with continuous remote care. They're disconnecting themselves from labor-intensive one-to-one delivery of traditional telemedicine, and they're incorporating sophisticated analytics for population-based understanding, for demand prediction, for scheduling optimization, and for billing interoperability. Companies like this are offering prescription delivery. They're offering at-home urgent care. And those are enabled by virtual care services. So that's, for example, Alto Pharmacy, which offers consumers free prescription delivery with advisory services, raised $250 million 2 months ago. Ro, which offers virtual consultations for home delivered prescriptions, raised $200 million. And Amwell, which has got a telemedicine platform for a broad range of services, raised $194 million. In Boston, Honor, which is a home care company for virtual home care, raised $140 million. And right here in our backyard, Maple raised $75 million from Loblaws to build out consumer-based care with Shoppers Drug Mart. So consumer adoption and investor dollars are signaling the shift towards healthcare business models that are not focused on telemedicine, but use telemedicine as an enabler to achieve specific population health outcomes. They are focused on greater efficiency and particularly on better access to general or specific healthcare services. And they offer a range of options from self-care through to virtual touch points, through to one-on-one delivery across the care continuum, either for general services or for general chronic disease management, or for specific diseases like diabetes, cardiac care, and the relatively new kid on the block is mental health. Actually, regarding the concerns about lockdown-generated tsunami of mental health disorders, there have been a spate of innovations released into the market claiming to help with mental health conditions. And that caused the Federal Drug Administration last month to release guidance saying they did not intend to object to the distribution and use of computerized behavioral therapy devices or other digital health therapeutic devices for psychiatric disorders that otherwise would have had to undergo a formal regulatory review. And several companies have taken advantage of relaxed regulations to release psychiatric digital health products, including Akil, which has released EndeavorRx for ADHD. Pear Therapeutic released a product for schizophrenia. Orexo has got a depression-related products. Vidya is looking at alcohol use, and Oxdio One has got a digital product to avoid opioid use disorders. Because we should not forget that along with the pandemic, the opioid crisis continues unabated and is getting worse. All of these on-demand healthcare businesses are possible only for data-driven companies who are building data collection into every touch point. They are aggregating that data. They're developing artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms to analyze the data and identify patterns. And they're driving consumer and clinician decision-making with good data. The second most funded value proposition is for life science companies who are focusing on research and development catalysts. Those are companies that support drug discovery and clinical trials management. This year, they have seen investments of $1.3 billion in this last quarter across 25 different deals, with an average deal size of about $50 million per investment. And these clearly are companies that are driven by data analytics that find patterns in large genomic and clinical trials data sets. And considering the race to develop vaccines and treatments for coronavirus, they're adding efficiency, precision, and speed to drug development, and that feels like more urgent than ever. In fact, many of the companies in this category are developing COVID-19 vaccines and treatments, like Xtapi, who's using artificial intelligence to screen existing drugs that may be able to treat coronavirus, and Atomwise is creating the collaborations with research centers and universities to develop coronavirus treatment candidates. And the third category is for companies that are focused on wellness and general health maintenance. There's increased demand for companies that are looking at the promotion of fitness, nutrition, and sleep. And this is a continuing trend over the last several quarters. These companies have received $1.2 billion invested across 21 deals, with an average deal size of $60 million. And generally, these companies use wearables or point of care to stream data from multiple users in real time. And their focus is on social technologies and data aggregation and on specific population intelligence as their core technical capabilities. These are companies like Zwift, which raised $450 million for interactive fitness entertainment platforms. That's related to indoor cycling for the cycling enthusiasts. They're competing with Peloton. Tonal raised $110 million for intelligent at-home strength training. And Whoop, which is a Boston-based wearable and tech analytics company, raised $100 million for their platform. In the same vein, ClassPass raised $285 million for a monthly fitness membership program. So those are the kind of companies that are in the health and wellness space. And so the mega deals are showing us where the market is going. It's towards, it's across the continuum of care and towards prevention innovation through wellness and health maintenance and wellness. It's for diagnosis and treatment innovation through R&D catalysts. And then it's care anywhere, anytime with on-demand healthcare are the three main categories of health tech deal making. But the mega deals are also illustrative of the considerable venture and public financing for scale-ups and startups. At the moment, there's about 100 million that is available through the Canadian superclusters and mini clusters. And there are $50 million tranches through the US innovation clusters in Colorado, focused on Boulder and Denver, the Rust Belt states centered on Ohio, along the Boston, New York corridor, and of course in California, between the combination of Silicon Valley focusing on health tech and San Diego on biotech. All of these centers have got early stage public financing opportunities ranging from $50,000 on the low end through to about $1 million on the high end for startup activity. And then there are the customers for these companies, pharmaceutical companies investing in R&D catalysts, along with research organizations, and all the health payers and the health systems and the hospitals who are buying solutions for specific healthcare settings or for specific programmatic focuses like virtual cardiac care or diabetes, and as we said before, mental health coming on stream. So healthcare innovators working in health tech or in any of these broad categories have got huge opportunities for customers, funders, investors, and partners to help them gain traction. That's the good news. On the risk side of the equation, most of the health tech companies in the startup space will not succeed, and they will not get funding. Because what is common about all of these innovation opportunities is they all require of healthcare innovators to have a mix of advanced soft and hard skills, the equivalent of doing 3 PhDs simultaneously. Because if you're in the space, what you need is to have a combined understanding of healthcare, clinical knowledge, and the capabilities to develop advanced analytics. You need expertise in building workable consortiums that nurture collaborations between public, academic, and private interests to solve complex problems. You need to understand the startup business and the disciplines of innovation. Of course, you need access to advanced technologies and the ability to easily and quickly assemble infrastructure components together so that you can focus on the specific problem that is your focus and passion. You need to be able to develop traction to get the financing to bring innovations to sustainable fruition. And you need to have great communications and storytelling skills to translate this complexity into simple stories on the spectrum from one-on-one conversations all the way through to one-to-many broadcasts across networks in order to be able to generate interest and traction. Doing all of this together is a very tall order for anybody. Healthcare innovators need supports in order to be able to succeed. And so these are the attributes that we're building into the Collegia innovation ecosystem. That is our combination of our accelerators, our impact funds, our community interactions, and our global network connections. So all of Collegia is designed to support healthcare innovators in these areas.